Every weekend here at LakePoint Sports is elite, but this one gets to wear that name proudly across the entire holiday weekend. It's Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus with our kickoff to summer featuring can't-miss action across all 5 premium venues. I'm Cory McCartney. Our focus is on the Baseball Village, where we have a State Games of Georgia matchup for you between Carolina Prime and USA Prime prospects from the 14U division. We're having about a 10:15 first pitch on this one. I'll be joined along the way by Avery Hunt, our own Grayson, Rosen, and Impact Sports Sykes, Christian Guerra. But that's just part of the celebration here on campus. The Adidas Memorial Day Classic at the Champion Center. C1N 7v7 football at the Publix Fields in high energy beach bash at Terminus. We have some footage now of them setting up the action now at Terminus. Doors are opening today at 10 a.m. Things heating up around 11 to 2. We'll have a live DJ, giveaways from Monument Grills and Publix. The first 500 guests will get a free Nathan's Famous hot dog grilled on those aforementioned Monument Grills. So to all those Joey Chestnuts in training out there, we've got your destination set. Should be a good one over there at Terminus Wake Park. Again, they are the presenting sponsor of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend. So excitement over there. And again, we are focused on the Baseball Village, where we have a 10:15 first pitch slated for you between Carolina Prime and USA Prime prospects. We have our starting lineup set, so let's go ahead and take a look at those, presented by the Windscreen Factory. Carolina Prime will lead off with center fielder Kyle Larson. Then it's second baseman Ashton Seuss, right fielder A.J. Jackson, Reed Williams, the DH, hitting fourth, Sammy Connor, shortstop, hitting fifth. Hitting sixth is first baseman Conley McDaniel. Hitting seventh is Finn Boyles, the third baseman. Hitting eighth is Stone Bird, the catcher. Hitting ninth, left fielder Cole Deems. Colt Spagger, the lefty, will be on the mound. USA Prime leading off with shortstop Noah Allen. Then it's right fielder Tucker White. Aiden Millette hitting third and behind the plate. Hitting fourth is first baseman Hudson Bradshaw. Then it's Braden Griffiths, the second baseman. Lawson Booth, third baseman, hitting sixth. Hitting seventh, Taylon Murphy, the left fielder. Hitting eighth, Cooper Sykes, and he's the extra hitter today. John David Stenko, the DH, hitting ninth. Hitting 10th is Trey Taylor, the center fielder. Sam Dixon, the right-hander, will be on the mound. Again, we're excited to get you this 10:15 first pitch between these two squads, Carolina Prime and USA Prime prospects. A busy Memorial Day weekend here at LakePoint Sports. So we take a quick break here in studio. We'll bring you first pitch as this one gets underway from the Baseball Village. Again, those were our starting. It's one of those days here at LakePoint Sports. Again, those are our starting lineups presented by the Windscreen Factory. Cory McCartney will be taking you up to first pitch here, 10:15 between Carolina Prime and USA Prime prospects. Again, told you, one of those days. The on-field action, just part of the offerings here at LakePoint Sports, where we effort to provide a best-in-class experience. That includes access to testing and player performance data that is redefining evaluation and recruiting. Located here on campus, the Curve Test Center brings athletes an unprecedented look at how they measure up in its ball, body, and brain approach to testing. Let's go inside the Curve Test Center.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is, if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
2, 1.
Test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble here on the LakePoint Sports campus or sign up now at curvetestcenter.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. Again, we are slated for a 10:15 first pitch in this matchup, our game of the day from the state games of Georgia, Carolina Prime against USA Prime Prospects. Again, this all part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. I'm going to take a quick break here in studio. Again, we'll be taking you up to first pitch, slated for 10:15 in this matchup. We'll cut to one of our field views and show you the teams warming up for this 14U action as we have pool play underway for this tournament that will wrap up on Tuesday. I promised guys warming up, and we're just getting, we got a golf swing going in the dugout there. Some low impact action for you to warm things up here. But again, we'll be headed towards 10:15 first pitch. I'll be rejoining you as our action gets underway.
2, 1.
And our action is underway here in our game of the day from the State Games of Georgia. This, of course, part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend here on the LakePoint Sports Campus. Cory McCartney joined by Christian Guerra from Impact Sports Psych. Christian, man, appreciate the time. Appreciate you coming by for a little while.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Going to get a lot into things here with you momentarily. Carolina Prime is at the plate to start things off. They'll be led off by Kyle Larson, then Ashton Seuss and A.J. Jackson. While USA Prime has Sam Dixon, the right-hander, on the mound. That one's in for a strike to start things off in this matchup. So, Christian, let's go inside the background a little bit. You work with elite athletes, military personnel, first responders. I'm really interested in the process for you and how you work with clients. But first, dealing with so many different groups where high intensity and having to process a lot in a quick amount of time. Tell me about the path and getting down to all this for you and just kind of everything that your work encompasses.
Yeah, so one thing that I feel like has been a pillar to my growth has been the time that I spent with the military. As a contractor, they wanted you to do everything. So like you have to be able to meet with the training staff. You need to be able to meet with like all the leaders, with the trainees. So with that, I was able to get in front of a lot of people that are different, right? So leaders, like you're talking about generals, commanders, first sergeants, like people with different experiences. And I was able to understand how to address them. Because when I went to school, it was like, okay, how can you help people get better at performing, right? But, it wasn't really so much of like, how do you address people who are different? And I think that time in the military helped me understand how to address them, what are some of the worries that they have, how we can help them.
You are a certified mental performance coach. What, in your experience, what is that separator from a high-level performer and someone who actually has the skills or the ability but doesn't actually reach that peak performance?
So could you rephrase the question?
So we have a lot of athletes out here today in particular. You get to a certain point where these athletes, we have a throwdown there on third, we're going to have our first run of the game score for Carolina Prime, where you have someone who reaches their potential, what they want their potential to be, someone who has the skills who doesn't get there. When you're working with somebody, what do you feel like and see that are those attributes that lead someone to actually get to where they want that performance to get, as opposed to somebody who has the ability but doesn't actually see the end results?
Right. I think it's the mindset. So somebody who truly grows and gets to where they want to go usually doesn't have a limit. Somebody that has the mindset of growth, not just a fixed mindset like, hey, once I reach this, then we're good. And so whenever that happens, they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And therefore, even though they have the skills, they do not get to where they want to go because they have a limit on where they want to go. Goals are cool, right? Goals are great. Goals are essential. That can't be the determining factor on where your limit is, right? So what I've seen with those athletes that are really locking in and are growing constantly are the ones that are like, hey, I'm just looking to get better every day. I don't really have an end goal because I know that my limits are not defined, but my goals give me direction.
Well, they say the journey is often better than the results, right? And sometimes when you're able to appreciate the journey and not be so focused on getting that thing, because a lot of time you get to that thing and it doesn't make you feel the way that you expected it to, and then you look back and be like, hey, it was actually the process of getting there that was a little bit more meaningful. But I mentioned the individuals you work with in high-stress environments. What are those fundamental pieces for you when you start working with these groups and these individuals in terms of setting them up to perform the best in their different environments?
Yeah, I mean, the first part is them understanding how their mind works. That is the foundation of when I work with any high performer, is understanding, hey, how is it that I process information? So there is a cognitive processing model that I go over with them as this is what happens, and this is what you think about it. This is how you respond. Setting that foundation makes a huge difference on what empowers them. Because many players, many athletes, many performers don't understand how much of an influence they have over their improvement. And so me being able to help them understand, like, hey, you have more power than you think you do, that is number one factor that kicks things off.
I've really gotten into mental performance. One of the real gateways for me was Admiral McRaven's book, Make Your Bed. You know, he ended up giving that commencement speech at Texas A&M, and just kind of had having that, you know, that structural discipline each and every day, and kind of setting up those pieces, whether it's, you know, you journaling or gratitude or visualization, meditation. You deal with a lot more. We were talking before we went on air about having basically the science behind all of this.
Yes.
How difficult is it then when there's not really that foundational proof that this stuff works, and then trying to put that all together and continue your own work?
Yeah, I mean, lately it's been a lot of assessments, like self-assessments, where we ask the athlete to be very honest about where they think they are in confidence and motivation and in composure, focus. But now we have technology that can measure all of those. So understanding how to use that technology and be able to show them in real time, like, look, this actually works. What you are applying actually is making a difference on how your body is responding. That's what is going to make it a lot better for us in the future.
One of the big things for me personally is just been learning to breath work.
Yeah.
How much do you use that with your clients?
It's huge. It's huge because breath work is, yes, breathing is great. It helps, kick off the rest and digest response, right? Which basically counteracts the fight or flight response.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. The second thing, though, is the focusing on the breathing, because athletes tend to overthink. They're thinking about what happened. They're thinking about what might happen, not what's happening. So much energy is being spent on all of those three things instead of focusing your energy, efforts, and attention on what's happening right now. So breath work is so effective because it forces you to focus on the now, not on what happened, not on what might happen, but what's happening right now. And that is, I believe, even more beneficial than just breathing, right? So,
in baseball, we hear a lot of times about controlling the controllables, and you think about, those things being your effort, your attitude, your reaction. When you lean into adaptability with somebody, what are those key points of emphasis for you when you kind of start to have somebody almost have that unbeatable mind?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is something we introduce, which is ACT or ACT, and it stands for acceptance and commitment training. So they're in a situation that they cannot control many things. So acceptance is super important. A lot of people try to ignore things, which usually doesn't work out very well. So accepting that things are happening, accepting perhaps your emotions of frustration, accepting that something happened, accepting that you cannot change the past, and committing to those things that you can do right now. That is the key to not letting things bottle up, right? And then you might lash out or you might react rather than respond. We want people to be more tactical in their responses.
Well, if people are loving what we're talking about, they can find out more about you at impactspc.com. You're on IG and X at Impact SPC. Facebook is on Impact Sports Psych. So tell me about your involvement here at LakePoint Sports. I know you're pursuing a PhD. What you're doing here could end up having a major influence on your research for that. But tell me a little bit about the involvement here and what you hope that athletes can get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here for a few weeks, and I've been able to talk to parents. So parents are the first people I talk to, because they come to me and they say, hey, look, I don't know exactly how to help my athlete, right? I want to help. We are talking to them, but we don't know exactly what that is. So me being a resource not only to athletes, but also to parents that want to understand how to unlock their child's performance. That is, I think it's something that many people didn't really know about. And that I wasn't surprised with that, because I talked to a lot more parents in my business already that want to understand how to help their child. And then me speaking to the athlete, they can see that I have things that I offer, right, that can help them in their performance. So I'm hoping that, as I'm here, I'm able to create more relationships, be able to grow, the knowledge of that this something is available. Many people don't even know that it exists. Not many people even know that that's a thing. In fact, here in Georgia, with the certified mental performance coaching, you're talking about less than 20 or so.
Wow.
Certified mental performance coaches. So it's growing. It's just very tiny right now. So not many people know that is available. So now I'm trying to raise the awareness, like, hey, this is something that's available to you.
We're understanding the what, but what was the why for you? Why was this ultimately something that you decided that this is where you wanted to create this niche?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I played soccer and football. I was good, but I wasn't like, I knew that I was holding myself back. So one of my mentors, somebody I went to church with, he told me, hey, look, I read about something called like imagery or visualization. You got to practice this like the night before the game. Just imagine that you are doing really well. So my senior year, I tried that before every game. And I went every time I was like, going to bed, I would imagine, what I was doing, that I was doing well. And that season I was all state here in Georgia for soccer. So I was able to be like, my mind was able to be more familiar with the situation, with the pressure, and it's almost like I was just reliving, an experience that I had recreated or created the night before. So I was so fascinated by how much of a change that was. Just that one thing that I did made a huge change on how my body responded, how I, performed. So I got really interested in it. I went to school for it. So.
Yeah, the power of visualization is always so incredible to me. I remember recently reading a story about an Olympic shooter that he was in the military in sniper school, and he only had access to the shooting range, once a month. But he would spend so much time with the visualization part of it, and ended up setting an American record for the highest score on the range that he was on. Just the fact that you can train your body and the muscle memory to be able to do that without actually going through the motions of it is just absolutely incredible.
It's incredible. I mean, we've had many studies that we've researched that it's the same result. Like mental training is fundamental to success. You can't be out here all day. You can't be out here all day.
Yep.
You can try, right? And you can do all this physical training. If you don't accompany it with mental training, you're not going to improve as fast as you would like.
One of the things that I've found has been really helpful, and when I speak to my own kids about it, is just gratitude. Whether you're doing that, verbally, whether you're journaling it, whatever approach you have. And I know sometimes people will look at things like visualization, meditation, and gratitude as kind of maybe a little hokey, but being able to approach it in a way that's like, no, just if you put out more of this, then more of it's going to come back to you, and being able to, set yourself up for more positives to come by focusing on the positives is a very simple thing, and it's kind of sometimes confounding when people try to make it so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, there is a study, because there's a physiological response to things such as gratitude and things like that. And there was a study that they conducted where they had two groups of people. They brought in one group and they gave them 4 random words and said, hey, write sentences with these words. Words such as, camera, sky, car, whatever. So they wrote these sentences down. They brought in the second group, and they gave them words associated with old age without saying old age. So they said, like, gray, bingo, wrinkled, or, Florida, right? So these people wrote these sentences down as well. And then they told these 2 groups, hey, walk down this hallway, go to this next classroom, and then we're going to finish the experiment there. So they did. And then what they were actually measuring was how long it took these 2 groups to walk down this hallway. And what they found is that group that had the association with those words with old age, they walked significantly slower than the other group. So what we found with that study and other studies that have been conducted similar to those is that what your environment, what you have around you, what it is that you are focusing on, the words that you have in your mind, your body is responding without you even knowing it. So that's why, they say like manifestation and like something, there is a scientific explanation for that, is because we don't even know that our bodies are responding to what it is that is in our environment. So it is, if you want to be more intentional about, growth, surround yourself with things that are going to be more positive, more facilitative to growth.
Awesome stuff. We're going to be back with more. You're watching the State Games of Georgia. I'm in here in studio with Impact Sports Psych's Christian Guerra. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney along with Impact Sports Psych's Christian Guerra here in studio. We've got a 2-0 lead for Carolina Prime over USA Prime Prospects. Then it's again a part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. And we were just talking during the break there about your influences. When there's so much out there, but yet you feel like there's something lacking, how do you kind of approach the work that you want to do in a way that's going to be new and kind of breathe new life into what's already out there?
Yeah, so performance training, performance psychology has been a heavily unregulated field, which is why the Association for Applied Sports Psychology made this certification, the CMPC, or Certified Mental Performance Coaching, because we want to put out there more scientific research, skills that have been backed up by research, not things that are like motivational, because motivation comes and goes.
Yeah.
My duty is for me to not have you need me anymore, right? After us working together, for you to be like, I have been equipped with the tools and the things that I need to go out there and succeed. So that is something that's different from perhaps like some life coaches or, like motivational coaches, things like that. Is we have, with that certification, I have to have a advanced degree, have to have 400 hours of mentored experience, have to have, those 400 hours have to be with athletes or, military personnel. We have to pass a written exam. So, we've been vetted as certified mental performance coaches, and that certification is the one the military branches ask for, pro teams ask for, especially in baseball. It's heavy in baseball. They want somebody that has that certification. So I know that I have, the knowledge, and I have the skills, and I have the things that have been backed up by research. So when I talk to people about it, I know that it works. It's not something like, like it might work,
This question is going to be a little bit more philosophical, but when we talk about when athletes get to a certain level, do you feel like anyone can get better and unlock that new version of them through the mental side of it, or are they ultimately limited by the physical abilities?
So, we're not going to ignore physical abilities, right? Like, there are some things that are traits, right? And there are some things that are skills. So some traits obviously are going to give an advantage to some people, or a disadvantage to others. Skills is what we focus on. It's like, hey, how can we make sure that you grow as much as you can, right? And I'm not saying let's place a limit on that. Let's see like how far you can go. There's two types of motivation that a lot of athletes need to understand. One is ego orientation, which is I'm looking around to see how I can be better than other people. Oh, I need to beat this person because they're going to take my spot, right? Like, or I better do better than this person, or they're going to take, they're going to take my spot or whatever. So that is ego orientation. Task orientation, though, is different. Is how can I be better than I was yesterday? How can I continue working on only that? And those people are the ones that have been shown to grow way, way more than those that are comparing themselves to others.
But it's hard, too, in competitive environments not to do that, right? It's just try to understand the competition is ultimately you. It's when we talk about wins and lessons and not wins and losses, and being able to accept that part of it, that ultimately you're against yourself more so than you're, in this case, against the batter in the box.
Right, yeah, and that is that is the great thing about having a growth mindset is when you see success in others, you're inspired by their success, right? Whether it's a competitor or whether it's a teammate, you are inspired that, hey, they can do well, I can do well, right? Like, I put in effort, I embrace challenges, I grow from failure. Like, if I do that, I know that I can do well. So I'm inspired that they can do well because I know I can do well as well.
One of the books that I really enjoyed was Angela Duckworth's Grit, in kind of that understanding of intense passion meeting intense perseverance toward that long-term goal. And I know you talked about goals ultimately not being the thing, but I always find it's like, again, as I go back to having written a couple books and I look back and you hold that physical thing in your hand, but it wasn't getting there. It was the grit and the determination, the perseverance of actually seeing that thing through, and that being kind of the defining factor when I look back on something like that.
Yeah, I mean, what we have found is that self-actualization, or that feeling of completion, right, like you're fulfilled, is not by what you do, but who you become, right? So, you can accomplish a lot of things, but if you are suffering through all that and not having, not feeling like you're becoming better just to accomplish that, then you haven't really been self-actualized. But if you're seeing that you're growing and those results come, which you write a book, or you are able to take it to the next level in athletics or whatever, then those are things that are results, right? Part of the process, right? So who you become is more powerful than what you do. Because what you do is just, things that are accomplished, but who you become makes a whole lot of difference. Because there's people out there, there's pros out there that have accomplished everything and they're still not fulfilled. It's because they just suffer their way through everything and they're like, okay, I'm here and I didn't think it was going to be what I thought.
You mentioned starting off with the parents. When you first get with an athlete, what's step one for you when you're sitting down with them and really understanding what one makes them tick, but ultimately how you can help them get where they want to be?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is listening. Like, the biggest thing is doing the evaluation, or what I call discovery. So it's like there are people that have different things holding them back. So parents, will tell me about what their view is, and then I meet with the athlete and see what their mentality is, what it is that they think they need help with. And then I tell them, look, I am just like a personal trainer. Like, I can give you all the tools. I can give you the information. If you succeed, this is going to be all on you, and I don't want you to tell me thank you for this or that. I want you to take accountability for this. And I ask them questions. I'm like, do you love the sport? Like, are you playing the sport because you want to, not because your parents are telling you to? Because if your parents are telling you to, then we're not going to really work together. Because I'm not going to see too much of a drive. You're not going to see progress. And if you are not willing to put in, like, the second question is, are you willing to put in the work that we talk about? If they say yes, then, we're good to go. Because I'm just giving the tools. They're the ones applying it, and I want them to understand, like, hey, look, like, this is something you can achieve. Like, this is on you. Like, how well it does is on you. So setting the foundation of, like, hey, I have power in what I do. I have a say on how I respond to things. That's the way that sets the foundation. If we can't get through that, then, sorry, we can't really work together.
Well, that's absolutely awesome stuff. Again, he is Christian Guerra, Impact Sports Psych. You can find him on IG and X at Impact SPC, Facebook, Impact Sports Psych, and, of course, here on the LakePoint Sports Campus. Christian, appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
thank you
so
stopping by.
much.
We'll be back with more. We've got a 2-0 lead for Carolina Prime over USA Prime in the state games of Georgia.
Windscreen Factory. More than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
1.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney now joined by married man Avery Hunt as we are rolling along in the state games of Georgia, part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. Avery, welcome back. Last time we saw you, it was your baseball bachelor party here at LakePoint. A lot's happened to you personally since then. So how is married life? How was the honeymoon? And is things now that you've gotten back to reality?
Married life's good. Not a whole lot's changed. We've lived together for, 2 years now, 2.5 years. So not a lot changed there. Wedding was good. Honeymoon ate way too much, but you'll have that at all-inclusive resorts.
That's right.
We've worked hard this week to try and offset that. But as far as getting back to real life, just got thrown right in the deep end Monday morning after American Airlines decided to have us sit on the tarmac in Charlotte for 3 hours because of an IT issue. So that was great. But besides that, we're rolling along and glad to be back at the ball field.
We've got a 2-0 lead for Carolina Prime. Stone Bird is at the plate. He's going to be followed by Cole Deems. And then we are back to the top of the order with Kyle Larson. I don't know if you learned something when we had Christian in here talking about mental coaching and
I was going to try and convince him to talk to me about my golf game. Lord knows I need that.
Bird ropes that one into the outfield, and cameras didn't catch it, but you see the home plate umpire signaling that is going to be out number 1. I kind of got into that stuff when we had Brandon Geyer here during the feature games, Major League Mindset. Ended up Brandon got my son on his program. I ended up doing it. He's like, you can do it too. So I kind of just went through it and just got roped into this stuff and have been running through a bunch of different books. And not that I'm listening to basically like Cliff Notes of them when I'm out reading, or out running. But just it's cool stuff and obviously helping players in a major way, because I think we all kind of deal with that, right? I think any of us who have had not even athletic backgrounds, but things that you go through personally that you're kind of like, man, if I just approached that from a different mental standpoint, who knows how I would have performed there, or,
Absolutely.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I've kind of dabbled in some stuff. The guy I kind of listen to is Brett McCabe. He works with a lot of golfers.
Yep.
And got a base hit there to right field, but just kind of listen to a podcast, listen to him talk to guys. It's kind of helped me, just professionally, just being able to control what you can control, and that's helped my mental sanity, especially during our summer season.
I think it's been big too. This younger generation with Kobe Bryant and the whole Mamba mentality, all that really is basically each day trying to get to a better version of yourself. And it's a very simple fundamental thing, but then you wrap it up in the kind of mystique of Kobe Bryant and seeing what he did on the court, and then it becomes like a completely different. It's no longer that hokey feel good stuff. It's like drive, determination, going out, having a plan, some structural discipline, and how you're going to approach each and every day. And all of a sudden it's like, we want to do that. And you see a lot more these athletes, especially this age group, buying into it.
Maybe just take after Kobe, just get to the golf course at 3 a.m. every day.
That's right.
See if I can hit golf balls better, but that's probably not going to help me.
Well, we had a base hit from Cole Deems. We're back to the top of the order with Kyle Larson. He's got a NASCAR race to get to immediately after this. Larson's 1 for 1 today. 2 hits already for Carolina Prime. We had a pitching change for, that one's right up to the second baseman, flips it to short for 1 out. They get the double play, pulls him off the bag. So we'll have a runner at first, but.
USA Prime had a big double play there in the first inning, kind of get out of some hot water. Bases loaded, 1 out. Starter kind of struggled to find the strike zone, and they were able to get a big double play to get out of that inning, and almost replicated it here in the second as well.
John David's Stenko on the mound now. We did have Sam Dixon to start things off. That one is skied into right field and hauled in for an inning-ending out. Carolina Prime continues to lead 2-0. We'll be back with the bottom of the second from the State Games of Georgia.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
You just saw the Curve Test Center in action there. You can test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills at TrackMan, Proteus, and more. So visit the bubble here on the LakePoint Sports Campus or sign up now at curvetestcenter.com. Down to the bottom of the second inning, we've now got Hudson Bradshaw, will be followed by Braden Griffiths and Lawson Booth for USA Prime Prospects. That one's popped up by Bradshaw and goes out of play.
So you're happy the summer baseball season's here?
It's going to happen one way or the other. Whether I'm ready for it or not, it's happening.
It's here.
Yep. See Hudson Graham doing his thing back on campus now after making a run across the state for all the GHSA state championships. Some crazy ones. Blessed Trinity with an epic comeback to get that championship. And, man, when Carson Zagarin coming through in extra innings to deliver them a title.
And 6 inches from the left fielder making a diving catch.
Yeah.
It's a tough way. Being a guy that's lost a state title game, that is not a fun day. I'll just put it that way. I have an eternal dislike for the Savannah Bananas in their stadium because of that reason. Have any Banana fans listening?
Did you lose
doing's great.
Did you lose in 2 games or 3?
2.
Okay.
1 run, both games.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great day. But, happens.
Braden Griffiths at the plate right now. Griffiths out of Prattville, Alabama, 5'9", 138-pounder. A lot of these USA Prime Prospects players in their first prep baseball event. Not the case for Carolina Prime. They are here pretty frequently. Colt Spagger on the mound.
Yeah, 2 groups that, have really good relationships with both of these programs, so it's always good to have these guys out here to kind of get their summer season started. So.
Sparger on the mound from Hilton Head. I imagine this is the time of the year that if you live in Hilton Head, you want to get out of Hilton Head because you have so many people that are coming in for the summer season. Then if you're there, it's kind of like, no offense to anybody else who comes here to LakePoint Sports, but for those of us who are here all the time and people come in and they're trying to figure out where to go and you're just like, come on, let's go. You're zipping around everywhere. And I imagine if you live in Hilton Head, that's going to kind of be the exact same scenario.
Yeah, it's like a college town, but the opposite. College towns, students are there. It's very different than, during the summer when there's only a few sprinkled in there.
Swing and a miss. Goes down on strikes. It's going to bring up Lawson Booth, third baseman.
You've seen our interesting, if you can see right behind home plate on the first base side, right above the red trash can, there's the white machine. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's a
Pharma
box.
Box?
Yeah.
Sorry if I butchered that.
Yeah, go and get all your medical needs just right here on campus.
I saw that yesterday, and I was like, this is interesting. New addition while I was gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, if you need a Band-Aid, you can just take the steps down from the Scout Tower, and they got you covered.
Hopefully I don't do anything too strenuous to hurt myself, maybe a paper cut. But.
There you go. Comes a 1-1. This one is skied into right field. Oh, nearly had a collision as the second baseman makes the catch, though. Another quick half inning. We're through 2 now. Carolina Prime leads 2-0. We'll be back from the state games of Georgia.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at Tella's Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at cartersvillemuseumcity.com.
We are back. Carolina Prime is up 2-0. They will send A.J. Jackson, Reed Williams, and Sammy Connor to the plate here in the third inning. Cory McCartney, Avery Hunt with you. You mentioned it during the break. Ronald Acuna Jr. made his long-awaited return nearly a year away from baseball last night to the Atlanta Braves. First pitch, an absolute bomb, 466 feet, 115 miles an hour off of his bat, and
for the longest home run by a Brave since 2023.
Yeah, and after that, we saw the Braves do what they've often done this year, which is not back up big moments, whether
Not
it's
much.
Chris Sale and now it's Ronald Acuna Jr. The Eli White thing in the ninth inning where he
Turns
ran back,
around.
yeah, it was confounding. Just to hear his explanation of it, to hear Brian Snicker talk about, well, Tuiasa Sopo, the third base coach, was down the line, which is the signal that when the runner comes around the third base, they're supposed to pick up the third base coach. If he's further up, then the expectation is you're going to go back. White saw that the ball was down, so the mere fact that he knew it was a hit and turned around and went back to second, it was all really bizarre, to say the least.
It's very fitting for the Braves this year, honestly. Just can't seem to get out of their own way.
A.J. Jackson couldn't get out of the way of that one. He's going to make his way down to first base, the Southeast Bullock, Georgia 2029 on with a hit by pitch to start things off. That's going to bring up Reed Williams. Jack McCartney caught up with Reed Williams pregame, so we will have that interview for you during the postgame show. Reed, Bullock Academy 29, will be here for the Junior Future Games this summer. Was at Rising Stars preseason All-State back in March. Left-handed pitcher, but he's been really unable to throw, so he's been primarily playing first base for this team. He's DH today. A little Shohei Ohtani. He's got to keep the bat in the lineup. They're taking off for second. Bit of a hold there on that throw. Almost maybe bobbled it a tad. But runner moves to second.
Good jump there. See if they can't add on here in the top of the third inning.
So let me ask you this then. Jerks and Profar is going to be back June 29th. The Braves are, 7.5, 8 games out of the East lead. They're about 4 games out of the wild card, sitting below 500. I don't even know if the playoffs are even going to be the answer, but do they finish the season above 500?
There's so much talent, you would have to think yes, right? Or like, at what point do we think 2023's season is like is a hoax? It's like, what are we doing here? Because I mean, nobody, I guess, besides Ozuna has like replicated those numbers.
Yeah.
Like there's the hope that Austin Riley becomes like June and July Austin Riley, where he just kills everything. Olsen's heating up a little bit, but like, I love him, great defender, but it's really tough. It's going to be really tough to, say, oh yeah, Nick Allen, like, hey bud, you're going every day. It's like,
well, there's in the major league season, because it is obviously so incredibly long. There's that ebb and flow, right? And you don't ever feel like everyone is going to be high at one point as that ball is headed into left field and Carolina Prime is going to extend their lead off the throwdown. You're never going to have that time where everybody's high and everybody's up and everybody's hitting, but you shouldn't have that time where everybody's low and nobody's getting it done. So the fact that the Braves have had so many of their key guys not hitting, it doesn't feel like it's realistic that they're all going to start hitting at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two. Maybe Olsen puts it together for a stretch. Maybe Harris looks like he did a couple years ago. But it just doesn't seem realistic that every one of them, even with Acuna providing a spark, that they're all of a sudden going to start playing at all-star levels.
Yeah, the concern obviously is, with the Braves is like, so far center field, second base, and shortstop have been zeros. Like all of those guys for the year have WRC pluses below 70. And it's like, that's just not.
Well, 100 is major league average. Is that throw the plate gets the runner?
Looks like
we're
we're
gonna have a bit of a argument here. No, he's just gonna move on with his life. And
we're gonna talk to the first base coach, maybe.
Well, the runner is in fact going to be out. But you mentioned it. I mean, WRC plus, way to run creative plus of 100 is major league average. The Braves also are not real high in the WAR department at the moment. As Michael Harris II has a .1 WAR, Ozzie Albies is .2. Olsen leading the team at 1.5 right now.
And it's just those specifically like Albies and Harris. You've paid those guys. You can't roll out 60. I think after his first at bat last night, Harris's WRC plus was like 58. It's like, dude, that can't be a thing, especially on a premier position. Like if you're Nick Allen playing shortstop that catches everything within a general direction and doesn't make errors, that's great. But like center field's a premier position. Like you look around the league, there's a lot of guys that play center field that are putting up big numbers.
Runner advances the second. Catcher's gonna hold on to the ball on that one. But even like Alex Verdugo, it's like he's hitting 16% below league average. And we went to a game a couple weeks ago. My son's like, he just is like looking around constantly. It's like he's not even like locked in. I was like, well, maybe that's just maybe he zones in when he needs to. But it's just that when you think about Stuart Fairchild and Verdugo, and no offense to Eli White, who's been great in moments, but he had obviously one he would like to forget Friday night. But him and Nick Allen getting consistent ABs on this team, I kind of think speaks to where things have been for the past month plus.
Yeah, and the problem too is like you had, Harris and Albies just swing at anything that's in the general vicinity of home plate. And it's just like, hey guys, maybe let's just take a pitch. Let's take a few. You don't have to swing every time the ball is thrown within your bat's distance of home. But, they're big leaguers. They know more than we do. So maybe they'll figure it out, as a Braves fan, I hope so. But I wasn't very optimistic coming into the year, and it seems to be. Like we were talking between break, Acuna hit the home run, and I texted one of my buddies, a Phillies fan. I said, hey, $100, that's the only run we scored tonight. And he was like, you're insane. I was like,
Conley McDaniel rips that off the glove of the second baseman. Runner's going to hold now at the corners. It's going to bring up Finn Boyles, third baseman. It's certainly been tough goings here in Atlanta, and they're going to host the All-Star game along with the MLB draft here in the next 2 months.
Have you looked at tickets for any of that?
So yeah, I got the email about the ticket packages that you would get that would take you from the futures, because we have the future games here. They have the futures game as the MLB version with their Stars of Tomorrow, and it'd take you all the way through the home run derby and the game itself. Even third level seats are over $900 a piece for those events.
Yeah, we were looking at All-Star or Home Run Derby tickets, and like $400. It's like, I don't know that I like, we got a safety squeeze.
Boyles gets the bunt down and run scores for Carolina Prime, make it 4-0. The throw over to third, they got him. Going to have a runner at first, though, and a 4-0 lead for Carolina Prime here in the third.
Aggressive base running there. Nobody home at third. And tried to extend it, but a good throw from the first baseman to get the second out of the inning.
So Boyles is going to remain at first. Stone Burr, the catcher, now back up again.
Well, small ball action here to get the summer started.
Yeah. But yes, tickets for everything to do with the All-Star Weekend is going to be extremely expensive here in Atlanta. But along with that, we're also going to have the MLB Draft, which is exciting for us, I think, because there's so many of the players that we've seen here this spring and past summer, past summers that are going to hear their names called, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think we get excited watching the SEC tournament a couple nights ago and just seeing guys like Rustin Rigdon and R.J. Austin, players that we've had here. Certainly the opportunity to do so at the SEC level, but we're going to hear a lot of names called that are awfully familiar to us coming up.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be back with more. Carolina Prime leads 4-0. You're watching the state games of Georgia from LakePoint Sports.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
We are back. Carolina Prime leads 4-0 over USA Prime Prospects. Cory, McCartney, Avery Hunt with you on our game of the day from the state games at Georgia. This, of course, all part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. A lot going on again this weekend, like it is every weekend, but it all is a little bit more elevated in these Champions weekends. Cam Newton's got his 7-on-7 going on.
Saw those guys this morning.
You gonna head over there?
I don't know.
Between that and the Adidas Memorial Day Classic happening at the Champions Center, there's some big-name athletes here on campus this weekend.
Yeah, make sure if you're coming into the ballpark, get here early.
Yeah.
Because parking will be at a premium.
Absolutely. I'm going to wait and sell my spot before I leave today, so I'm going to stand outside of it with a sign that says $50. And
yeah, sell my parking pass.
That's right. Yeah, that Cam Newton 7v7 is a lot of fun to watch, and he is literally, it's not just name alone. Like, we have events here where, a player may have their name put on it and they may not be part of the proceedings. Cam is literally out there coaching these kids. He has a team of players that he leads each and every game, and it's he is hands-on to say the least.
Might have to go over just to check out his outfit.
Yeah. I don't think he dressed like last time he was here, I guess it was 2 years ago. He doesn't dress nearly as crazy as what you see on some of the social media stuff when he's out there coaching.
He's got good hats.
Yeah, he doesn't wear the fedoras with feathers in it when he's out there coaching.
That would be electric. I'm going to hand up. If he happened to be tuned in right now, if you got an extra one laying around, let me get one of those, wear it around this summer so I'm noticeable. That might be the opposite effect of what I'm looking for.
Felt fedora?
Yeah. Might be the opposite effect of what I'm going for. I try to stay under the radar as much as possible. But
with one down, we've got Cooper Sykes, and then it'll be John David Stenko.
I will say this will make you happy. Our last broadcast before I took my hiatus, I had like 15 people come up to me. I'm like, hey, you're the guy that was on the broadcast. Great job. And me personally, I was like, oh my gosh, the fact that people were watching, I just try to tell myself that they're not.
There you go.
And they're like, you did a great job. And I was like, thanks. So that'll make you feel better.
I like that, yeah.
Boost up our broadcast ratings here.
Well, I thought just our parents were watching.
Yeah.
Goes down on strikes, now 2 down. That will bring up John David Stenko. out of Smith Station, Alabama, 2029. First prep baseball event for him as well. He's taken over on the mound for Prime Prospects. Started off with Sam Dixon. 4 runs on 4 hits for Carolina Prime. USA Prime Prospects looking for that first hit as we sit here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, Sparger's really done a really good job, filling up the zone, letting his defense work behind him. It's been really impressive here to start this game for Prime. Another swing and a miss.
How did you get by without Aware TV when you're on your honeymoon?
I'll be honest, did not tune in.
You didn't miss it?
I did not.
It's not big in Cancun. No, they're not all over pitch aware. All right, we are through 3. He is Avery Hunt. You'll see plenty more of him all summer long. Avery, great stuff as always, man. We got a 4-0 lead for Carolina Prime. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at Telus Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at CartersvilleMuseumCity.com.
Our LakePoint sports photographers deliver at the highest level, taking you inside the action here on campus. We've got game day covered, and now you can not only see your game through our lens, but you can purchase photos as well. Use that QR code on screen for the latest images with galleries uploaded after the completion of tournaments and events. You can also log on to LakePointSports.com for more information or check out any of our social channels. The post is pinned at the top. We are back here. Grayson Rosen coming in out of the bullpen. Our third pitching change of this game for us. Only had 1 so far in the actual game action as Avery Hunt exits and Grayson steps in. Not sure, did you listen to Christian Guerra at all?
I didn't get the chance, no.
Some great stuff from him, Impact Sports Psych. You'll be able to see him across campus working on his PhD. Some really wild stuff from him, talking about taking a lot of the things that we have heard about mental performance and mental coaching and trying to find basically the science behind it and pairing that up with technology. It's definitely in the right place if he's trying to get access to the kind of individuals that are looking to get peak performances each and every time they step onto the field or court. He's got his pick of the litter here at LakePoint.
Definitely, and he's got to witness the start of a pretty good game that we've got right now in our hands. Carolina Prime's offense definitely showing up when it matters.
Oh, he's going to want to take that one back. He kind of showed bunt and then backed out, but the bat was still around, so he's now got an 0-1 count.
Oh, there we go. Ropes one to short. That one got caught.
That was Cole Deems, by the way. We're now back to top of the order, and Kyle Larson for Carolina Prime. They are leading 4-0.
Yeah, Larson led this game off with a single, so.
Yeah, he's 1 for 2 so far.
See if he can maybe get things rolling again.
Yeah, apologies if you tuned in thinking that we were going to have a matchup of Carolina Prime and 6'4" DP Tigers. That was our expectation, as that one is down. Second baseman has it, spins, throws for the second out. But a schedule change was made the day before the tournament, and the team dropped out, and it kind of had us reshuffling the deck. So we got in here, went over to pick up the team's lineups, and thought, when did 6'4" start wearing red? And in fact, that was USA Prime Prospects instead. So we were a bit scramble mode this morning. So if things seemed a little bit off, and I was felt like I was all over the place during the pregame show, trying to put things together quickly as we got this broadcast underway. But nonetheless, we are rolling along, sitting here in the 4th inning. It's in for a strike.
Yeah, speaking of rolling along, some quick work so far in this inning from USA Prime. Haven't seen this at all from them yet. We'll see how he handles the 0-2 with the 2 outs. He gets the strikeout. That's the first time this game that Carolina Prime haven't reached base safely in an inning.
Well, they've still got a 4-0 lead. We are moving very quickly through this one. You are watching the state games of Georgia. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports. our action continues, and Colt Spager is back on the mound, and he has been electric so far. Got himself 6 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. Throw down, and he will be facing off against Trey Taylor, the bottom of the order for USA Prime. Then we're back to Noah Allen and then Tucker White.
Yeah, Sparger's just trying to keep up the good work. The 6 strikeouts in 3 innings, and it's been a perfect split. Every inning, he's gotten 2 strikeouts. So we'll see if he can keep the trend here.
Yeah, the 5'11", 180-pound lefty out of Hilton Head. It's a swing and a miss on the first pitch.
And what I love and what I think is going to give him the tools, whether it be this game or any other game he pitches in, to go deep into the game, is it doesn't look like he's doing too much up there. He's not, over-exaggerating his motion, trying to keep everything natural, and, nothing indicates that he's going to slow down now.
He's got an 0-2 count. Yeah, a lot of ease of movement, to say the least, out of Sparger. He comes with the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Got himself a 7th strikeout.
Oh, man. Witnessing quite a start here.
Now we're back to the top of the order, and shortstop Noah Allen. Allen, Stanhope Elmore High School in Alabama. 5'11", 150-pounder, playing in his first prep baseball event. First pitch goes back foul.
I'm interested to see kind of how USA Prime, now that they're up to the top of the order for the second time, see how they adjust. How do these guys kind of see Sparger a little bit differently now that you're going to see him for the second time?
Well, it continues to be daunting. At least that's the observation here from Noah Allen, who's got an 0-2 count.
Ooh.
Goes off speed, drops that down. Second baseman has it. Slow roller, and that's going to be the first hit, an infield single by Noah Allen. Softly hit as the first hit of the game for USA Prime.
Breaks up the perfect game and the no-hitter.
Wow.
For Sparger.
What a difficult play. I mean, softly hit to the second baseman, and Allen was trucking down the line, and now USA Prime finally has their first base runner of the game as they'll send up Tucker White.
Well, props to Allen. You can tell right there. That's what I was talking about. How do these guys change their approach? He was super patient. He saw something that he felt like he could get a bat on. Yeah, it was a little bit outside the zone, but he did something with it. There's a bunt here.
Yeah, White shows bunt. Throw to first.
Well done.
No one's covering third.
Something that Carolina Prime tried to expose when Finn Boyles dropped that bunt down for the RBI earlier in the game and ended up getting tagged out at third, but USA Prime takes one from their book and pulls it off.
Smart base running by Noah Allen. They now have a runner at third, and we'll bring up Aiden Millette, the catcher.
Putting themselves in a good position here to potentially score a run. It was a great play by the third baseman, but somebody's got to be covering that one.
Misses high. Nothing's been the same since that second baseball came onto the field, and Sparger had to go get it. Throw roller back to him. That's going off the mound. Oh, no, that's going to be a run for USA Prime. The throw to first gets away. What a weird turn of events here for Carolina Prime. They had a perfect game. We see the softly hit infield single. Then we see a bunt where no one's covering third. And now a ball that almost used the pitcher's mound as a ramp gets past Sparger, and a run scores for USA Prime.
Yeah, that was super weird. It put Sparger in a really awkward position to try and field that ball, but it seemed like he got a ton of spin off the end of the bat, and now we're going to see if USA Prime has more to offer.
Hudson Bradshaw now at the plate with 2 down.
If you're Sparger, you just try not to sweat this. Yep. Obviously, their attempt is just put bat on ball. They got caught looking quite a few times in that first go-round, so adjust the priorities here. Oh, looks like Sparger might have missed that throw. But
now they're going to have him in a rundown.
See, they got him.
It's going to bring it into the inning. Sorry we didn't get to see that, folks, but 4-1 is the lead for Carolina Prime. We'll be back here watching the state games of Georgia.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Our action continues in state games of Georgia. Cory McCartney along with Grayson Rosen. 4-1 is the lead for Carolina Prime. John David Stenko is back on the mound for USA Prime. He's going to be facing A.J. Jackson, Reed Williams, and Sammy Connor for Carolina Prime here in the 5th inning. This game is scooting along. We still have about 50 minutes of game time left. I don't know we've had a game that's reached the 5th inning this fast.
It's flying. And what's crazy is that first inning took forever. I mean, they got that. They didn't have that many guys come to the plate, but you had an early pitching change with just one out in the first inning. And I think that first inning was probably 20 minutes. And then they have just rolled right through it. And that was just the top of the first was 20 minutes. And now they've just been rolling. Big help from Colt Sparger having 1, 2, 3 innings for 3 straight innings, but that came to an end with the last one, and USA Prime got themselves on the board and kind of a little bit more of an attainable spot to be in, feeling like this game is well within your reach now with just 3-run deficit.
Aiden Millette, I think that was the first time I've ever seen a throwdown with a catcher throwing it from his backside. A bit of a rainbow on that one.
You wanted that call.
Sure did.
Held it there, let the umpire think about it for a second. But
yeah, this is A.J. Jackson at the plate for Carolina Prime.
Ooh, off the inside of the bat. Let's see if he can run it out.
Oh, ball got away from him.
That's why you hustle. Ask Juan Soto.
Was in position, but got out of his glove and going to have a runner to start things off here for Carolina Prime.
Everybody's a little confused, it
seems,
they are.
But
clearly a drop. I mean, you can't say that was on a transfer.
So Avery and I were talking about the return of Ronald Acuna Jr. last night, that first pitch
as electric
home run.
as it gets.
Yeah. Think about, obviously there's been a lot lacking in this Braves team that you think that Acuna is the solution to a lot of, at least in the energy department. But I'm going to put the same question to you that I put to Avery. Setting about, was it 8 games out of the East right now, about 4 out of the last wild card spot. I don't know at this point that I'm even wondering if this team's going to be able to put together enough of a run to get a wild card or get to the top of the division.
Yeah.
Do they finish the season above 500?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's a close, probably close, like maybe 84 wins kind of season. But I do think we finish the season above 500. I think, when you see blunders like we did with Eli White's base running and all that happened, I'm not sure really who that was on necessarily, but when you're seeing errors like that and you see, late moments in games where you're, giving up a home run in the 9th inning to take the lead, like those kind of moments are like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't, a playoff team, but I do think they're a 500 ball club.
I think the thing that last night in a lot of what we've seen to this point in this season with them really underscores what didn't happen this offseason, right?
Exactly.
The fact that you have seen guys like Alex Verdugo playing left field so much and needing Eli White to come out of nowhere and Nick Allen getting considerable time, Stuart Fairchild logging ABs, and then having to move on from a shortstop in Orlando Arcia, who was an all-star 2 years ago. What they didn't do this winter, I think, is coming back to haunt them early in the season.
100%. I mean, the relief pitching has been a major problem as well. Like that just it got thinned out, and they really didn't make the moves necessary to make any effort to fix that. So you're going to end up platooning guys when there's injuries. And like you talked about, the Arcia situation where he just simply wasn't playing good enough baseball and the defense wasn't good enough to warrant him staying on the field. So Nick Allen was just the reasonable option. And you've got young shortstops in the system that you want to start making them think, okay, maybe I can come up soon. And I think if Arcia and Allen were just constantly there was no place for those younger guys in the farm system to even believe they're coming up in the next couple of seasons.
Reed Williams currently at the plate. Again, we will have an interview with Reed Williams and Jack McCartney as we kick off our post-game show today. Count now 2-2. Excited to see that one. Reed, an interesting player out of, again, Bullock Academy here in Georgia, will be at the junior feature games this summer. One of the craziest things I think I've seen the last 2 weeks in Major League Baseball has been this growing speculation, and it was shut down by Ben Cherington, the Pirates GM, about them potentially trading Paul Skeens.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unreasonable thing to even assume because it doesn't matter how bad that team is. They've got 4.5 years of team control.
Yeah.
So that's just not going to happen unless somebody was literally going to unload their farm system for Paul Skeens, which I think, that was close.
Yeah, nice try.
He's really concerned with that base runner back there. But I think for the Pirates, you're in a position where the pitching is there. I mean, yes, Jared Jones just went down with a season-ending injury, but Bubba Chandler is budding down there. He is ready to come up. And a number of other players, specifically pitching prospects down in the minor leagues that are going to be coming up. Why ship off your ace? But if it's, we ship off the ace who's, tracking for generational talent, and you get back a lineup of players in the next couple of years, maybe it is worth it. But right now, when you've got him under control for 4.5 years, you're just not going to give that up.
Here's the thing I don't like about even that thought process is, yes, you've locked up Brian Reynolds. You have Brian Hayes under long-term deals. And you mentioned having club control of Skeens until 2026. I hate this notion for small market clubs that you almost have to accept your fate that you're not going to be able to sign somebody.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what any thought process of this point of trading Skeens would be, is to say, okay, well, we know we're not going to be able to give him $400 million in 5 years. So let's just go ahead and move him now while he still has intrinsic value to everybody.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But I think the problem is we assume that they're not going to make signings and whatever to change it because they never have. But then you have an issue like what came out a couple weeks ago where the Players Union looked into it and they got some notice that the Pirates have just been kind of like stowing away and holding on to TV revenue sharing money and not spending it on free agency. And then it's just more puzzling when you have this much money kind of pushed away and saved to the side. Well, who are you paying? Who are you waiting for? Because you got Paul Skeens there if you want to pay him soon, or all these other young guys coming up. But you also have genuinely no offense.
It doesn't fit into how the mechanics and the finances of baseball work. But there could be the thought process of if you hoard your revenue share money for, say, the entirety of Skeens being in club control, and then you give that to him as a signing bonus, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
it
and
doesn't
then
work
he
like
just keeps living out exactly what happened to Jacob deGrom in New York, where he can be a Cy Young winner with 15 losses.
Yeah, I think that's the confound, and I think that's what led to a lot of this conversation. Right, is the fact that they are 3-5 in his starts, including that one last weekend. Where he goes complete game, allows 3 hits to the Phillies, and they lose 1-0.
Yeah.
I think those are the things where people watch him from afar and say it's being wasted here. It's being wasted here. I think any club that's not spending the money that they're getting from rev share and television and not investing it back to their club should have the amount of money that they get going forward cut back, because you're already showing you don't want to use it. But obviously it's a crazy scenario to even think about it would happen. And I think it's got to kind of suck to be a Pirates fan that you're even hearing rumblings of that at this point.
Yeah, it's just, especially in like the last 5 years, just simply a poorly run franchise.
Well, it's so wild too because they have one of the.
Oh, it's the best stadium in baseball.
Yeah, and they have one of the biggest foundational brands in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. The city itself,
and what the Penguins have accomplished, and it's not as though it's a a small market in terms of the way that the people come out for their teams.
Yeah, and it's a historical franchise as well in the sport.
Exactly.
That's, I think, the part that makes it worse is that there was a time where they were, a premier franchise.
Well, then every year we have Roberto Clemente Day, and the entire there's a bigger microscope put on the franchise, and then it becomes like, well, look what it is now.
Yeah,
but every
exactly.
year
it's just reliving the glory days.
Yeah.
Whereas, if it's Jackie Robinson Day and we're putting the spotlight on the Dodgers, and you're like, okay, well, they've just stayed a facet of the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, it almost makes it worse, the fact that we're not worse, but it makes it worse the current state of things that we every year have.
It's just amplified.
2-1 is the count. That one is roped into right field. That's going to be down for a base hit. Here comes another run for Carolina Prime. Going to hold it third, so we're going to have runners at the corners. 5-1 is the lead for Carolina Prime now.
Yeah, Carolina Prime throughout this entire game has had no issue finding their way on base. They've drawn either a walk or a hit by pitch in almost every inning, and right there you get the RBI hit, delivering their 5th run of the game, make it a 4-run game again.
Stone Bird steps in. That was Finn Boyles, by the way. They got that base hit.
He's having a good day.
Yeah, he sure is, and that kid can absolutely fly. We don't have the 60 time on him. Would love to get it, though.
We saw him reach on that bunt that scored the run earlier in the game. Oh,
the throw to second, the plate. They got him. Brings an end to the inning. Carolina Prime, though, has extended their lead 5-1. We don't often see that throw down to second, nor do you see the completion of it to get the out at home. But Carolina Prime's up 5-1, and we'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Carolina Prime has a 5-1 lead over USA Prime prospects. We will see Hudson Bradshaw, Braden Griffiths, and Lawson Booth come to the plate for USA Prime. They erased a perfect game in the 4th inning. Oddities, to say the least. A slowly hit ball to second base. Then we see the bunt, and then we see a ball that basically used the pitcher's mound as a ramp. But they got their first run out of it as well.
And they forced a pitching change as well. Colt Sparger leaves the game.
Ashton Seuss will now be on the mound for Carolina Prime.
And there is like a tiny bit of rain, looks like, coming down on the field.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that. Colt Sparger, through 4 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned 7 strikeouts. Really electric start for him. Meanwhile, Finn Boyles 2 for 3 to lead things for Carolina Prime at the plate. He's got 2 RBI. That 1 hit coming from, the first hit coming from Noah Allen for Prime prospects, and 2 batters later, Aiden Millette had a hit as well. Seuss, the new pitcher for Carolina Prime.
Certainly has some big shoes to fill up there on the mound with how Sparger started this game, but we'll see if Carolina Prime can try and hold him off, or if USA Prime feeling a little bit of momentum off that last inning.
The Ware County 2029 on the mound now. 11th prep baseball event for him. First pitch goes back foul. A little surprised we saw a pitching change. Sparger was electric, to say the least, and didn't really do a whole lot wrong during that 4th inning in which his perfect game was broken up. Again, one of the, I mean, it was just a really softly hit ball to the second baseman. A tough play, was unable to get the runner there to kind of start things to get USA Prime an opportunity. And They capitalized. Not a lot of hard contact off of Sparger, but they were able to get on the board.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing there with pulling him is just keeping the pitch count in mind. You're a really talented lineup in this tournament. You know, we're going to go through Tuesday. So if you want to see Colt Sparger again in bracket play, you probably go ahead and pull him now and just see how it goes from there. Especially giving yourself that extra run there and just making it once again a 4-run lead.
Only
Really
49 pitches for Sparger.
Yeah,
through
so I
4.
mean that puts him in a good place to show back up Monday or Tuesday in a game and once again be dominant.
Yeah, this is the start of these really long grinding tournaments for us. Again, you mentioned it, going all the way into Tuesday. We're going to have coverage of the 17U championship game. Goes down on strikes, so Prime changes pitchers, but same results.
Yeah, now you're getting it from the other side too, with the right hand, and that one had a little bit.
Look at that! He
arm
barehanded
side
that throw
sick.
back to him. Yeah, he's like, this
He's
is
locked in.
Yeah, this is warrior mode stuff here on the mound. Ashton Seuss dealing
There
with
that is
him for a
again.
strike.
He loves using that inside fastball because he knows it gets that late drop on that arm side, especially against back-to-back lefties. It's a huge asset. Now he uses it high and outside. Got a big swing and miss. Count is 0-2, despite what our scoreboard is displaying at the moment.
Misses inside. There's ball 1. Now the count is correct.
Yes.
At 1-2. I see some umbrellas out.
Yeah, it's not supposed to rain for long, and I don't know if it's supposed to be heavy. It's just...
I think there's some heavier stuff
quickly
expected
come
late
through.
afternoon here in the Metro Atlanta area. But unless there's thunder and lightning, we will continue to march on. We had a game a couple weeks ago where it was raining
man.
sideways.
That was brutal. You almost would have wished there was lightning so they could have gotten out of that.
Yeah, some waterlogged players. Here comes a
Yeah.
2-2. Oh, man, rips that 80.4 off his bat, drops in front of the right fielder for another hit. Make it 3 on the day for USA Prime as Braden Griffiths comes through with a hard hit ball. It's going to bring up Lawson Booth. Booth, Glenwood High School in Alabama.
He took an early leadoff and picked off to first, but missed the throw. That's a costly error there on the mound.
Now a runner in scoring position for USA Prime. See if they can capitalize with Booth at the plate. You see the rain starting to spit now. Did you make it over to the 7v7?
Not
morning?
yet. No, I haven't. When I got here first, they hadn't quite started things, so I hopped out here and took some photos of baseball, but definitely where I'm heading once we're wrapped up here.
Swing and a miss to start things off to Booth. Comes the 0-1 from Seuss. Glances back at the runner. For a strike, make it 0-2. Do you have any Seussisms?
No,
I'm sure he's very much heard 'em all.
I know the books, but
Yeah. Oh, the places you'll go, right?
yeah. There we go. There's a swing and a miss he
Well,
was looking for.
the place that Booth will go is back to the dugout for a second strikeout for Seuss here in the 5th inning.
Got to see a little bit of that off speed right there. Maybe a slider. Had a lot more horizontal than vertical movement, but
It's going to bring up Taylon Murphy.
that one's roped out there in the
Murphy
gap
first
again.
pitch drops that in front of the left fielder. Runner's going to take off for home. The throw is going to be cut off by the third baseman. Oh, it gets away from the catcher. Make it 5-2. Runner taking off for third. Is he going to hold there? He does. I think they're saying they're saying that the ball went into the dugout. Like the third base coach is pointing over towards the dugout.
If it did, I think he'd still be placed on third base. Because he hadn't reached third yet.
I believe that would be the argument, but we'll see how it nets out. But again, I think you're right. I think he would hold it third. I think it's a matter of where was he when the ball went through. Was he already getting to second base? If he'd not made it to the bag, then I think you're right. He holds it third. But if he was going past second, then it would be another run. All right, so he will, in fact, hold at third. Taylor Murphy at third base got himself an RBI, and that's going to bring up Cooper Sykes.
They were real close to getting out of that without giving up a run there, but
it's now 5-2.
Somehow got past the catcher. It kind of looked like it just went right out of his glove. They almost had that play at the plate.
Everything was lined up, could not complete it though, and USA Prime got themselves another run.
Quickly down 0-2 here. See if Seuss can pull something out of that bag of tricks. We've seen the breaking ball a couple times now. See what he goes for here.
The Glenwood right-hander got an 0-2 count. And this is high. All right, Seuss delivers. Sykes not buying on that one. Count now 2-2. Rain is starting to gather outside our studio. Still see those umbrellas out there. It's a 2-2 from Seuss. Right down the middle. Got himself 3 strikeouts in the inning, but USA Prime got a run. 5-2 is the score. We'll be back. You see that rain spitting out now across the baseball village. We'll be back with more from the state games of Georgia.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
Curve Test Centers is redefining player and performance data when it comes to evaluation and recruiting. Test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble here on the LakePoint Sports Campus or sign up now at curvetestcenter.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. Our action continues in the 6th inning. 5-2 the lead for Carolina Prime over USA Prime prospects. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you.
Looks like we got a pitching change out on the mound.
All right, the 3rd pitching change. Well, technically 2nd pitching change because the 3rd pitcher, though, for USA Prime is going to be Stone Bird, then Cole Deems, and we're back to the top of the order with Kyle Larson for Carolina Prime.
Tanner Murphy getting his day rolling on the mound here in the top of the 6th. See if he can just kind of hold things off, but there's a hard liner right there to start off the inning, 85, but well played.
Oh, gets away from the first baseman. Bird's going to make his way into second base. Had a bit of a collision. No, he's going to track back to first.
Didn't go too far. That was a close one there, but Bird still reaches safely at first.
All right, so Tanner Murphy, the new right-hander on the mound for Prime Prospects at Daphne, Alabama, 5'9", 130-pounder, first prep baseball event for him. So Bird's going to be aboard to start things off here in the inning. Cole Deems, the left fielder, now at the plate. teams. Coffee County, Georgia, 2029. Those Coffee boys. Slow delay there on the throw down to second.
Seemed like he
Verbal
might
advance.
kind of struggled to get a grip on the ball.
Yeah, Millette frustrated with himself. You see him shaking his head there. Avery and I were talking about the GHSA state playoffs coming to a close. No more stunning developments than Blessed Trinity being able to come back from a major deficit. Carson Zagarin, who we've had here on campus many times, getting the walk-off win. Man, that's absolute epic there for Blessed Trinity to get the championship.
Pretty crazy to go back to GDC Week 1 where we did Walton versus Blessed Trinity, and then both of them are state champions.
Yeah. Terrence Bowen went to Blessed Trinity with that championship in mind. Of course, we had Terrence in here in studio during the Georgia Dugout Club tournament. Bunt back to the pitcher. Delays his throw, gets the runner at first. But they came through, got themselves that win. And, we had some absolute epics, though, across the state. And going to be excited to catch up with some of those players here and kind of hear the tales of these championships won as we roll along here this summer.
Definitely a lot of guys going to be stepping on campus that were either in a pretty deep run or maybe took home a ring.
Lost to hit him on the foot. It did, in fact, hit the runner on the foot as Larson gets hit by a pitch. It's going to bring up Ashton Seuss, who's taken over on the mound for Carolina Prime. There are no Dr. Seuss baseball rhymes, but you can buy Dr. Seuss baseballs, baseball hats.
Would be
plenty of Dr. Seuss baseball paraphernalia, but there are no Dr. Seuss baseball rhymes to bring up when Ashton Seuss is at the plate, sends that one foul.
That was the 4th hit by pitch by this USA Prime pitching staff. I'm going to go out and meet on the mound real quick.
If you're lining up, though, Dr. Seuss books that would best sign up, acknowledge Ashton Seuss as a baseball, I think the Cat in the Hat would probably be the easiest one, right? That's where the mind, I think, most easily goes. But yeah, I think that's probably the simplest one. I do like the.
I don't think Dr. Seuss ever showed much interest in sport in general, at least in his writing.
Maybe there's like a whole uncovered run of Dr. Seuss sports books that we just don't know
it always
about.
amazes me who started off in sports. That happens all the time. It doesn't matter, what field they're in now. People, start off as sports writers and potentially legendary authors.
One of the first editors that I ever had in a newspaper said if you can cover sports, you can cover anything.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that you never know going into a situation how it's going to unfold, the highs and lows, trying to cover all the, the different emotions that people deal with. It basically arms you for almost anything.
Tried to throw down again.
Cuts off.
Okay.
Runner holds it third, though.
Carolina Prime might have learned their lesson last time around with the don't test that throw down move.
Well, Seuss is going to have runners at second and third.
Got infield in for USA Prime.
Murphy's got a dynamic leg kick, a little violent leg kick. Last weekend we had one that was more of an elongated leg kick. This one's violent. This one I do want to put some plywood up and have Murphy take it down.
It would be like the boards from like karate.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, going back to that first editor that I had that talked about sports writers being able to cover anything, he told me a funny story about a writer that went to go cover a game, and I don't know if this story actually happened that he had heard from somebody else or if this was just basically like sports writer lore that was passed down, and said that kid came back, one of his first assignments, and was supposed to cover a game. That one goes foul. And said, well, they didn't play. And he says, well, why didn't they play? And he says, well, there was a fire in the press box and part of the building burned down. And he said, well, why didn't you stand there to cover that?
Yeah, that's
came back empty-handed.
Exactly what you're supposed to be covering. When I think of, like the sports writer that kind of...
Oh man, a punch out.
on 3-2 as well.
All right, Seuss goes down on strikes, and now it's going to be 2 outs for A.J. Jackson.
Now that Seuss is out of the box, I'll bring my closing statements on authors. But like a guy like Hunter S. Thompson wrote for ESPN and then a legendary author afterwards.
Dribbler foul. I think Millette took off for that like he thought it was a wild pitch. 0-1 is the count now to start things off against Jackson after that foul back. Murphy's going to make it 1-1 as he misses. Millette wanted that one badly.
Yeah, I think it was pretty close. I think it was a little bit more outside than the one that he got on that 3-2 count in Seuss's at bat, but he'll give him the ball there, make it 1-1.
Murphy with that big leg kick. Now he gets it in the outside. Make it 1-2. Flip it on our scoreboard.
I think maybe our scorekeeper's working for himself here.
Now 2-2.
See if A.J. Jackson can deliver here with 2 outs. Anything gets into the outfield, you're certainly looking at least 1 run. Ooh, put a ride in that one to the opposite field. Might go foul.
Yeah, right fielder on the run. That one's going foul. Yeah. Bounces into the concourse.
Everybody retreats, and A.J. Jackson will get another try with a 2-2 count.
2 down. If Jackson gets on, we'll see Reed Williams again. Jackson 0 for 1 today. 5 runs on 5 hits for Carolina Prime, USA Prime prospects. 2 runs on 4 hits.
See what we get here on 2-2. Long pause.
Ooh, looping curveball misses high. Count's going to be full now. 2 down in the inning.
Last at bat, it was a 3-2 count for Ashton Seuss. Got rung up looking low. Puts it in play. Oh, a great stop by the shortstop.
It's going to be 1 run for Carolina Prime. Make it 2 as it bounces in front of Millette.
It's a big moment right there. A.J. Jackson putting a hard grounder and a great stop over there. A sliding stop is short.
Noah Allen cutting it off, but it's going to be 2 more runs for Carolina Prime.
Yeah, great base running by Carolina Prime. He knew that it was going to be a tough play for that shortstop to get up from the ground and make that throw, and ends up rolling in to make it 7-2 in this game for Carolina Prime. Now the lefty Reed Williams at the plate. An exciting young player in this lineup.
Yeah, again, we're going to have a post-game interview with him with Jack McCartney, so looking forward to that. Drives the first one into right field. Center fielder's going to catch that one. Going to bring it into the inning. Reed Williams put a charge into that one, but it's just going to be a loud out. Carolina Prime, though, leads 7-2. We'll be back from the State Games of Georgia.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville, Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at TELUS Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at CartersvilleMuseumCity.com.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. The State Games of Georgia. Carolina Prime leads USA Prime prospects 7-2 as we're rolling along. 6 hits for Carolina Prime, 4 for USA Prime. You see the work of Matty Bullock here bringing you some early game highlights, and this one has been a lot of fun so far. Of course, it's all part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. Great play at the plate there. Millette's able to get the out for USA Prime. We've seen some fantastic defensive play in this one, and game really, I think, Grayson, so far that has been largely dominated by what we saw early from Colt Sparger on the mound.
Yeah, and Ashton Seuss certainly hasn't shied away from it either. They've got 10 strikeouts between the two of them through these 5 innings that they've pitched, and we're going to see another inning out of Seuss here on the mound, see if he can maybe strike out the side once again. And what I just brought up is striking out the side. It's a controversial topic. You think you have to get them all 3 consecutively, nobody reaches to strike out the side, or is it 3 strikeouts in the inning?
I think it's 3 consecutive strikeouts to strike out the side.
I know that's a bit of an argument in baseball, but I think as long as you don't give up a run, I'll give you the credit.
All right. So what if you have a hit by pitch, you have 2 walks?
I mean, it's not a pretty one, but 3 you got all 3 outs via the strikeout. That's a good rope out
Murphy
there.
rips that in left field.
Yeah,
tries to make the diving play, but that's going to roll all the way to the warning track. Murphy's going to hold it. Second, he's going to make his way to third.
That was a late
throw.
choice.
It's going to be in time, but he's able to get in plenty of time to get himself an opening triple for Prime prospects here in the 6th.
Yeah, USA Prime is going to need all the help they can get now. It's the bottom of the 6th. I don't think time is necessarily going to be the factor that slows their roll, but the 5-run deficit is certainly a problem, but that's a good way to crack into it to start. A little bit of a pause here. All right.
Trey Taylor now at the plate. Drops that in for a strike. Got John David Stenko at third. Carolina Prime added 2 more in the top of the inning, but USA Prime prospects not going away quietly. Seuss drops that in for a strike.
Got 1-2 count now. Really going to try and pitch to avoid that run, but most importantly, you just want outs.
Ooh, just misses. Make the count 2-2.
I'm going to be honest.
Wow.
I think that I think Trey Taylor thought he was out too.
Yeah. Well, nice pitch spun there by Ashton Seuss, but it's going to make it ball 2.
There's strike 3.
Yeah, gets him at the outside corner, and that swing and a miss, and that's going to be strikeout number 3 for Seuss. Miss high.
All 4 outs that Seuss has recorded have come via the punch out. So you're going to try and maybe hope to put bat on ball if you're USA Prime here.
Well, he's got a 2-0 count to Noah Allen. We got Tucker White in the on-deck circle. USA Prime prospects trying to put something together here, trailing by 5 runs in the 5th. That's in for a strike, make it 2-1. Allen sends that back foul. If you missed it in the opening, we showed footage of them setting up over at Terminus. They're having a event over there today where we'll be handing out 500 Nathan's hot dogs. So if you want to be the next Joey Chestnut, you can get over there and have a go at it. Allen goes down on strikes. Another K for Seuss.
5 outs, 5 strikeouts is an impressive line for Ashton Seuss.
Bring up Tucker White, right fielder. White 0 for 1.
He's trying to catch up to Colt Sparger before this thing's all said and done.
Oh, he's got an opportunity. 5 Ks for Seuss. He had 7 for Sparger. Prime pitching has been fantastic.
That one catches the outside.
Now got 2 strikes on him. Again, 2 outs in the inning.
See if he can do it. 6 outs, 6 strikeouts is what Sparger is looking for now with 2 strikes.
12 combined Ks for Carolina Prime. The sun is popping back out. I believe the rain may be gone. No more umbrellas in the background.
This is way outside, but great stop by the catcher. Got to keep in mind that leadoff triple, he's still standing there on third base.
Yeah, that's John David Stenko at third. Remaining schedule for both these teams, Carolina Prime's got game Sunday against Ambush Baseball at Cass. Another strikeout.
Man, six strikeouts.
Whew, Seuss has been fantastic. We'll get into that remaining schedule when we come back. Carolina Prime's got a 7-2 lead. You're watching the state game with Georgia.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney, Grayson Rosen with you. 7-2 is the lead for Carolina Prime. We're going to end up playing a complete game here as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Visiting team is up, of course, 7-2.
Murphy's going to continue on the mound. I guess I have to be more specific. Tanner Murphy.
Yep.
Going to continue on the mound.
Yeah, he's going to be facing off against, where are we at in the lineup for Carolina Prime? They're going to be sending up Sammy Connor, and then it's Conley McDaniel and Finn Boyles. There's a throwdown from Millette. When he gets his feet set and has an opportunity, and he got a cannon behind the plate, but Connor 0 for 2. He'll start things off.
Did draw one walk and did end up coming around to score, but it's been a relatively good stretch in the lineup if you're looking for runs.
Looping curveball misses out of the hands of Murphy.
You got McDaniel after him, 1 for 1 with an RBI and 2 walks, and then the aforementioned Finn Boyles with 2 hits in his 3 at-bats and 2 RBIs.
There's a strike. So I mentioned the remaining schedules for both of these teams as this tournament marches on. Carolina Prime plays Ambush Baseball on Sunday at Cass, and then Monday they play Canes Lakeside here at LakePoint. Meanwhile, USA Prime Prospects has 2 games at Georgia Highlands. On Sunday, they play East Cobb Mariners and Knights National. Ball put in play. Allen has it, gathers, throws.
Flying.
Not going to be. Oh, they got him. Wow, it looked
close.
like it was going to be maybe late, but Allen throws out the runner to start things off, and a big run for USA Prime as they look to give themselves an opportunity at the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Sammy Connor really close to legging that one out to first base, but not quite in time.
I'll bring up Conley McDaniel. I mentioned all those locations, games at Cass, games at Georgia Highlands, as well as here at LakePoint Sports. This is one of those tournaments when you have 130-plus teams, where unfortunately we can't play every bit of action here at LakePoint Sports. So this summer schedule oftentimes has teams playing on satellite locations as well. 1-1 is the count here to McDaniel. It's 1 for 1. Miss inside. Ball got away from Millette, went behind the umpire, and McDaniel doing his civic duty and going getting that ball.
I don't think Millette was even aware that ball left his glove because he was kind of staring into there like it might have just escaped. Oh, that one's crushed.
Yeah, ropes the 2-1.
Let's see.
Making his way
ground rule double?
Yeah, going to make his way to second base, and McDaniel's got himself a ground rule double. Unfortunately, cameras didn't cooperate for us to see the trajectory of that ball, but he's going to be standing in scoring position for a Carolina Prime team that's already got 7 runs. It'll bring up Finn Boyles, 2 for 3 today. Boyles has been the most productive hitter in this lineup, 2 RBI. I take that back. A.J. Jackson's got 2 RBI as well.
And he scored 3 runs.
Yeah, 3 runs. Hey, Finn Boyles has gotten work done too. He's got 2 RBI off his 2 hits. Maybe he gets a 3rd hit here and puts himself at the top of the heap for Carolina Prime offensively.
He certainly hasn't shied away from hitting in runs when he can. Well, puts it on the ground there. Hard hit out to the outfield.
It's going into right field. He's got himself
going for it.
Hit. Is he going to have himself an RBI? He does not as the throw to Millette gets the runner at the plate.
Yeah, I think Carolina Prime has found themselves in a spot where you might as well be aggressive here. Why not?
So a 3rd hit on the day for Finn Boyles. He's now 3 for 4. Some aggressiveness on the base pass denies him that 3rd RBI, but he'll take 3 hits, I'm sure.
I think now that we get into this, these summer tournaments, we switch over to the wood bats. And I think, Carolina Prime's been here the last 2 weeks with the metal bats. That change must feel super weird.
I bet it does,
especially because, these are pretty large fields, and going from swinging the metal bats just last weekend and just making the straight change over to wood bats only is definitely something to get used to.
Stone Bird at the plate.
Not a problem
Puts
for
that
Stone
one,
Bird.
right past Allen. Is going to have himself a hit. Runner's taken off. Boyles is going to be in time, and there's the 8th run for Carolina Prime as Boyles crosses the plate.
Back-to-back balls that Stone Bird's put in play. It's 85 and then 84.3. So the wood bat not dampering too much for him.
Yeah, that's, by the way, my action hero name for this game.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to go wrong with Stone Bird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and his brother Slade Bird.
Yeah.
It all works
That
well.
was BYRD.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured they were related.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then I started doing research yesterday.
Okay.
And, yeah.
I mean, just playing in the same program and having very similar
I thought so
last
too,
name.
but look,
that's a
Slade
good
Bird,
point.
BYRD.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, you know what?
No, it is
BURD.
Maybe they are.
Yeah. The other big youth baseball organization had the wrong spelling of it.
Gotcha.
Because I thought it was weird that 2 players that we would have at Hilton Head Christian Academy would not be related. But I did an interview with Slade Bird, Georgia Southern commit, class of 2026. He's been here for future games in the past. He was actually here last summer as part of the future game squad for South Carolina. So little brother showing up in a big way, and I'm sure we'll hear plenty more about Stone Bird along these next few years.
Yeah, that 2026 squad that we had here in the fall for Carolina Prime was extremely talented. We saw a lot of them. We saw a lot of the 14U guys as well.
That one's going to drop down. They made the catch, man. A fantastic catch. That's going to bring it into the inning. Some nice glove work there in center field out of Trey Taylor. But Carolina Prime adds another 8-2 as your score. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. It all comes down to this for USA Prime as we roll along in the state games of Georgia. We are headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. Ashton Seuss is back on the mound for Carolina Prime. He's got himself 6 strikeouts. He's 1 away from equaling Colt Sparger, the starter for Carolina Prime, and he's going to be dealing with Aiden Millette to start things off for USA Prime, and Millette will be followed by Hudson Bradshaw and Braden Griffiths. USA Prime trying to mount some kind of comeback here. They scored 1 run in the 4th inning, 1 run in the 5th to get there 2. Meanwhile, Carolina Prime scored 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and just added 1 in the top of this inning.
See if Seuss continue the strikeout streak.
Yeah, we have our Madden / NCAA football pressure going on now as the.
Not that much pressure is on Seuss, but if he does want to get to 9 strikeouts, he can strike out 3 batters here.
First pitch sends that one into play, and that's going to be caught for the first out.
So we can totally throw out the idea of 9 strikeouts here for Seuss.
That's right.
Unless we get a drop
there. Oh, there you go. Yeah, which has happened here before.
Yeah, we most notably Connor Essenberg.
That's right.
10 strikeouts in 3 innings.
Bradshaw now at the plate, 0-for-2. Seuss misses high. Yeah, the pitching for Carolina Prime has just been nails. 13 combined strikeouts. Bradshaw rips that 85.1. That's going to be into the gap. Is he going to make his way to second base? He is. Bradshaw coasting into second, got himself a 1-out double.
Yeah, couldn't quite cut that one off in center field. He just got off the bat a little too hot, 85.1. Good work right there for USA Prime. If you're going to get things rolling, extra base hits are going to be extremely valuable.
Tossing of the equipment as Bradshaw makes his way back to the bag. I'm getting to the point with the amount of equipment that I think the first base coach needs to have a bag on him or something.
Yeah, they just need like a basket to walk out there and you just dump all your stuff.
Or just like a crossbody bag that they would just put the stuff into, because even at the major league level, you'll see the first base coach will have a bunch of sliding mitts in their back pocket for whoever's going to potentially be up in that inning. We obviously see, like we just saw with Bradshaw there, tossing stuff over the first base coach, and these younger guys oftentimes have so much equipment on them with the shin guards and the elbow guards, and let's just give them, if we got a sponsor listening that's got some bags that they want to get their logo on, they get it out there, we give it to the first base coach, we've solved a problem.
True. Or maybe just every player should have their own assigned equipment bag.
Oh, that's interesting. But then they'd have to have a bunch of bags with them.
True.
But if they just have one bag...
But then things are going to get mixed up. I mean, what if two guys have the same sliding mitt?
Yeah, then you got to write your number inside of it, or your initials or something.
I mean, you probably should be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like we're going to have a mound visit here for Seuss. Now that he's got a 3-0 count.
Well, we obviously have the partnerships with Publix. Publix has shopping bags. I think Publix could easily give us some reuse, not the plastic ones that you get when you go through the U-scan and all that stuff. But give us not like the paper, paper bags.
Like the reusable
bags. Reusable bags. Even like the freezer bags that you would get, and you could leave them unzipped. They could put it on themselves.
Yep.
And everyone could come by, and they could just, when you get to first, the guy just opens his bag up and they toss it inside there, and we're going to make this happen.
We should get robots.
Oh, there you go.
A robot that goes out of second base, grabs your sliding
I like that too,
your leg guard, and then they just drive back. It'd probably cause quite the delay.
Well, we are nothing but a technological campus, so that would be cutting edge tech for us to have that.
I think like Uber Eats and other delivery companies at like college campuses and some.
Yeah, I was on the Ohio State campus one time, and 2 of them came crossed paths, and they stopped. Oh, the back throw from Seuss goes into center field, but Bradshaw's going to stay put. But these 2 delivery robots came alongside of each other and kind of just stared at each other.
Yeah.
And then they went back on their way.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they were
they're just talking.
Yeah, they were exchanging of information as they move along.
I spent one semester at Georgia Southern, and I saw 3 of them get hit by cars in crosswalks.
3-0 from Seuss. issues his first walk, and that's the first walk issued by a Carolina Prime pitcher in this game.
Wow. That is extremely impressive.
Yeah, 1 walk to go with 13 strikeouts.
It's a pretty good ratio.
1 down as the lineup now moves to Lawson Booth for USA Prime. And for a strike.
Sure, Seuss wouldn't mind a little bit of soft contact in the infield, try and get a double play here and just finish the job.
Another strike, make it 0-2. He is 1 strikeout away from equaling Sparger, the Carolina Prime starter. Does he get it here? Miss outside. Booth at the plate 0 for 2.
Booth trying to avoid being the 5th player with multiple strikeouts in the lineup. And he does just that.
Oh, man.
Just
I
over
thought
the
he
head.
caught that ball. It's going into right field. Runners are going to hold. Bases are now going to be loaded for USA Prime prospects. Man, we had nearly had an absolutely epic catch at second base.
Though Carolina Prime, and it looks like Ashton Seuss is going to leave this game, but they've done a good job of at least making the plays quickly and being aware and not allowing guys to advance extra bases when they don't have to. But it will lead to the end of the line for Seuss in this game.
All right, so Ashton Seuss exits. We have a pitching change for Carolina Prime. We're going to tell you about that new arm when we come back from LakePoint Sports.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
New pitcher for Carolina Prime will be unveiled here momentarily. It's Sammy Connor. We want to watch the footage from Matty Bullock here as we have seen Carolina Prime take an 8-2 lead over USA Prime prospects in our game of the day from the state games of Georgia. This is, of course, all part of the Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. Busy weekend here across LakePoint Sports and really our opening to the summer. It doesn't feel like things have, it feels like any other weekend because every weekend has been big. And that's not to say that this weekend isn't big. It's just that every weekend has been big here since we started baseball in February with the Georgia Dugout Club tournament. We are now into the heart of the prep baseball tournaments. And these are the tournaments that will stretch into the weekdays as well, no longer just Friday, Saturday, Sunday affairs. This one will go all the way up into Tuesday. Mentioned Sammy Connor taking over for Carolina Prime on the mound. West Ashley, South Carolina, 2029. He's got a fastball up around 74. We'll see what we see out of him in this relief effort as he takes over for Ashton Seuss. He's the 3rd pitcher of the day for Carolina Prime.
Yeah, the task today for Connor on the mound is get these final 2 outs and try not to let anything get too far out of hand, but you can spare yourself a run if you need to.
Comes to 2-0. Make it 3-0 as we're 1 pitch away from a 3rd run crossing the plate for USA Prime.
If I had to assume, we're going to see a stone cold take here at the plate.
Talon Murphy at the plate for USA Prime as Now going to draw himself a walk. He's headed to first base. His third time on base today. His third run crosses for USA Prime, make it 8-3.
Not a desirable start for Sammy Connor. 4 pitches, 4 balls to start his work here.
Cooper Sykes is now at the plate for USA Prime, 0 for 2. Difficult situation that Connor walked into. Bases loaded. Misses on the curveball.
Doesn't seem right now like he's got a handle on it.
I mean, it's a tough situation for any pitcher to step into this late in the game, and certainly not inheriting the bases loaded. See if he can lock it in a little bit here.
Missed inside.
Now, we saw Connor nearly make a spectacular catch at second base. Another miss. Just having a little bit of trouble zeroing it in here. He's got his back-to-back 3-0 counts. See if he can get his way back into this one. Or does he issue a second consecutive walk? So USA Prime keeps inching closer. 1 down here in the inning. Connor spikes that one, and on 4 pitches issues another walk. He's yet to throw a strike.
Yeah, not his day so far from what we've seen, and they're going to go out and talk to him. Now putting yourselves in a spot where you can't really risk anything with bases loaded and a 4-run lead. Technically the tying run standing there leaned up against his bat.
Yeah, it's Tanner Murphy, number 15, and waiting for his opportunity here with the bases loaded. Carolina Prime has been in complete control of this game up until seemingly this moment.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been the time for USA Prime prospects. If they were ever going to give themselves a chance in this ball game, they have earned it with 1 down here in the 7th and the bases loaded in a 4-run deficit.
You know, we talk about it all the time, how big run differential is for these teams trying to make it to bracket play and find yourself in a better spot. And it's certainly not helping Carolina Prime, but you're a little more concerned about just winning the game.
There's Connor with his first strike as he starts this AB against Murphy.
Just needed a few extra warm-up pitches maybe.
That miss makes it 1-1 here to Tanner Murphy out of Daphne, Alabama. First prep baseball event for him. Taylor Murphy standing in the a little off second base there. His brother. That one goes back foul.
2 strikes on. Certainly going to put him in a bit of a different spot than anybody else has seen with Connor, so we'll see what he's got to offer.
Yeah, just 1 down in the inning. Again, bases loaded. Murphy puts it in play. Connor has it.
Yeah.
Throws to first for the second out. Run crosses, though, for USA Prime. Collision with the catcher. Now 8-5 here with 2 down.
Seems like they're kind of laughing it off together, so nothing too bad there. Probably just not able to get out of the way in time.
It's going to bring up Trey Taylor, 10th hitter in the order for USA Prime. If he gets on, it's back to Noah Allen. First pitch goes foul.
Seems like Connor finding the zone now.
Yeah, ever since that mound visit, he's seemed to have been a little bit more composed and discovering whatever he needed to keep this game rolling along for Carolina Prime. Here he comes with the 0-1. One goes back foul. Now 1 strike away from completing the win for Carolina Prime. Is it a safe situation if you created the safe situation?
I think technically, yes. If we're going by MLB scorers, I think that is how it works.
All right, well, if that is indeed the case, Connor could get himself a save here if he can finish this thing off, but Taylor trying to change that. It's now got a 2-2 count. Taylor is 0 for 2. We've seen 7 hits for USA Prime. Not getting a single one, though, until the 4th inning, but they have put together a different kind of game in the second half of this one. Ropes that into right field, and that's going to be caught. It's going to bring it into this one. Carolina Prime holds on. They are 8-5 winners over USA Prime prospects. We'll be back to talk moment that mattered, player of the game, and much more when we come back from LakePoint Sports.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
Hot summer days call for cool adventures in Cartersville, Museum City. Beat the heat indoors with jaw-dropping exhibits at TELUS Science Museum and the Savoy Automobile Museum. Hit the water at Terminus Wake Park, kayak the Etowah River, or head to Lake Allatoona for fishing, boating, and unbeatable lake days. When the sun sets, head downtown for live music, delicious eats, and local flavors. From family fun to date nights, summer memories start here. Plan your trip today at cartersvillemuseumcity.com.
Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. We saw an 8-5 win for Carolina Prime over USA Prime prospects. On the field for Carolina Prime was Reed Williams, who's already locked in for the junior feature games. The left-handed pitcher and outfielder out of Georgia's Bullock Academy caught up with Jack McCartney pregame for this edition of Dugout Chatter.
It's time for some dugout chatter with Reed Williams, 2029 first baseman and outfielder for Carolina Prime. Reed, man, thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so you're currently injured and it's limiting your ability to throw. How are you using this time to really work on and critique your hitting?
It's just the time that I put into throwing and making my arms stronger. I'm putting into hitting, making my legs and everything else, my core stronger, so I can hit the ball harder. My mechanics, really.
You pitch a little bit. What's the path to get back on the mound and the path to really just get the ability to throw again?
Yes, sir. It's 6 weeks right now until I'm able to get back on the mound. It's shorter than we thought. It's going to be quicker than I think.
That's good. So we really hit big summer baseball. This is the first big event of the summer. What are you excited for going into the summer?
I'm excited to compete against really good players. My teammates are good. I'm just ready to play with some good players and show who I am.
All right, so you're going to be back at the end of the summer for the junior future games.
Yes, sir.
What are you most looking forward to, and what are you expecting going into that?
I'm looking forward to a bunch of really good players. Just a bunch of people there, good atmosphere. I'm expecting just a fun time, just to be with my buddies and play baseball.
That was great, Reed. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory, McCartney, Grayson, Rosen with you. We just saw Carolina Prime get an 8-5 win over USA Prime prospects in pool play here from the state games of Georgia. This, of course, again, part of our Memorial Day Elite Weekend presented by Terminus. A game that Carolina Prime was largely in complete control of until we got to that 7th inning. And the pitching for Carolina Prime in this game was just fantastic. Colt Sparger start things off, and then they go from Ashton Seuss, and those two guys in particular, strikeout machines.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, Colt Sparger was getting 2 strikeouts an inning for, I believe, the first 4 innings of the game, or for the first 3 innings of the game. Took a perfect game into the 4th inning. It unfortunately was taken from a single, and then you bring in Ashton Seuss. He gets 6 strikeouts for his first 6 outs. Actually, I think it might have, the 6 strikeouts for first 6. It's just unbelievable what we saw from the pitching. And then things got a little bit shaky. USA Prime, made their attempt there at the end to try and put some pressure on. But in the end, Carolina Prime just kind of kept rolling.
Carolina Prime, 9 hits in total, and then we saw some great plays from them in the field as well. But a guy who really stood out, I think, at the plate was Finn Boyles. I thought he was really good. Obviously, we saw some speed from him. I was able to get 3 hits on the day. But they just it was just a little bit of everybody doing a bit for them offensively.
Definitely.
They didn't really have that guy, I thought, that was a defining player for them offensively.
Yeah, I think you're right. Finn Boyles had a great day. We had the RBI bunt early in the game that went really well for them, and he just kept kind of rolling. You had the 2 RBIs from A.J. Jackson. A lot of players in this team that were contributing. Nobody necessarily stood out, not a ton of extra base hits, but they just put things together, and they took a lot of their opportunities. They got on base a lot in this game.
Let's talk player of the game presented by IHG. You mentioned Colt Sparger and the work that he did, the left-handed pitcher from from Hilton Head. Struck out 7 with no walks over 4 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run. He and Ashton Seuss, by the way, combined for 13 strikeouts. But Sparger was that tone setter and took that perfect game into the 4th inning.
Yeah, he just brought elite stuff. The fastball was perfect. It was moving great. And from the left-hand side, we talked about it early on, he just looked effortless. It was just kind of floating that fastball in at about 75 and just kept rolling as things went on. And it was really just elite placement of the ball and good sequences that got him through that point.
Going to be excited to talk to him in our post-game interview. You'll be able to find it across all of our social media channels because he took that perfect game into the 4th inning, had that softly hit ball to second base, the bunt, and then another softly hit ball that used the pitcher's mound as a ramp.
Yeah.
It just seemed like they didn't put hard contact on him at all in that inning, but it just seemed like every little tiny oddity that could happen happened to take away his perfect game.
Definitely.
So he's going to be our IHG Player of the Game. Make sure you check out that post-game interview. Again, that'll be all over our social media channels. Well, let's go into our Moment That Matter presented by Aspen Hospitality Group. And while USA Prime Prospects did not get the win, they pulled off a fantastic double play as we take a look at that moment here. Braden Griffiths to Noah Allen to Hudson Bradshaw to turn a double play in the 1st inning.
It's not showing up in the
All right, we're going to take a quick break here in studio, come back with our Aspen Hospitality Group Moment That Matters.
First one I picked up, I just liked it the best. And like I said, I tried a lot of different companies, a lot of different models, and I fell in love with Old Hickory for sure.
And that in the TV industry is what we call a tease as we come back and hit you with our Moment That Matter presented by Aspen Hospitality Group. I mentioned this double play from USA Prime Prospects as Braden Griffiths goes to Noah Allen to Hudson Bradshaw to bring an end to the inning. USA Prime Prospects did not get the win, but they turned in the moment that mattered. Again, we had a great game today, an 8-5 win for Carolina Prime over USA Prime Prospects. The start to the summer schedule for us here at LakePoint Sports. We'll be back next Saturday with coverage of the Prep Baseball Showdown. 132 teams are making their way to the premier travel and youth sports destination for that one. You won't want to miss it, so make sure you follow LakePoint Sports on all our social media channels for tune-in information. We'll have that going into the days ahead. And, of course, you'll be able to find that broadcast, like all of our broadcasts, for free on Facebook, X, and YouTube. So until next time, for Grayson, Rosen, Jack McCartney, and producers Maddie Bullock and Mason Monroe, I'm Cory McCartney, and we are signing off from LakePoint Sports.